Welcome to another episode of Free Flow Lesson Learned. Today we'll be looking into a topic which is very important. I'm talking about our imperfections. I'm talking about our flaws and our weaknesses. Most of the time, we look at our weaknesses as a burden. When we have a weakness, when we have flaws, when we have imperfections, when we think that we are not good enough, when we think that we are not fitting in, instead of us trying to fit in, let's first pause and take a break and think, why did God allow me to be like this? So when you know all those things, you now know what step to take, or what is God saying in this weakness? What is God saying about my life? Let's look at Joseph. He had his father who loved him so much, and his father had money at that time. But God gave a dream to Joseph that he's going to be great. All his brothers and his father and mother, they will bow before him. Even though he had a dream, there were certain things that were required of him. So God had to take Joseph through school of life. God will tell us that I'm going to make you a president. God will tell us that I'm going to make you rich. But one thing God will not tell us is that how is that thing going to happen? Imagine God told Joseph that you are going to be great, but before I make you great, I'm going to take you to the pit. And then from the pit, I'm going to take you to Potiphar's house as a slave. And from there, I will take you to prison. From prison, then you become a king. But whatever you're going through, no matter how hard it is, no matter how painful it is, I know it's not easy. But remember that everything is working together for your own good. A day will come whereby whatever you're going through today will make sense. Because in our weakness, that's where our strength is found. If God can use a shepherd boy to defeat the giant, if God can use a stuttering Moses to deliver a nation, then he can also use you. My mother, my father didn't have a name for me. They didn't know what to call me because they thought I would also die like my siblings. And my aunt had to give me a name, saying that I'm just a lie to them. I'm just pretending. I'm just a sample. I'm gonna die as well, just like my siblings. And that name became a burden upon my life. I was insulted by my friends, at school, everywhere. Imagine having a name that is what people are using to insult other people, and they're insulting you. You didn't choose to have this name, but still, you know what? One thing that I learned, that God uses what we think is a mistake. What we think is a mistake is what God will use to show people that from this weakness, he can make things come out as precious, as strong. If you can look at Jesus, his disciples, he took the weakest people. Whatever you are going through is not a mistake. That child that you have, and you are treating that child like a slave, as long as God allowed that child to still remain until today, take care of that child. Whatever that you have in your life you think is a mistake, even that job you think is a mistake, that job is not a mistake. There's something that God is communicating with you. Just understand, what is God communicating with you. One day, what you call a weakness is going to be your strength. God does not reject weakness. He chose it. Don't hide your weakness. It is your testimony. That is your testimony. That is what you're going to use to tell people about God. That is what you're going to use to encourage someone. And that is what you're going to use. One day people will call you to stand on stage to talk because of your weakness. God will use you because he knew you before you were formed in your mother's womb. And he called you by name. Before people named you, God already called you by name and ordained you to be a prophet, to be a pastor, to be a businessman, to be a businesswoman, to be a minister, to be a teacher, to be whoever you want to be, whoever God wants you to be. So your weakness is not your enemy, it's your platform. Let God stand on it and show his power.